Alright, what is up all you beautiful people out there? First things first, I just want to apologize for not posting yesterday. Yesterday was Tuesday, which would have meant that I'm doing a tutorial for you guys, but it's Wednesday and I figured I still wanted to do this tutorial for you guys. But anyway, today we're going to be covering how I edit my own photos on Instagram. I'll throw a few up right here. You may like it or not. I try to copy, I'm not copy, but I'm influenced heavily by people like Sam Kolder or Taylor Cut Films. So if you're into that style, or if you like my photos and want to see how I edit them, I'll be showing you guys how I edit a couple of my photos today. Actually mostly just one, and then the same thing applies to pretty much all the same photos. And then I'll be giving you guys an option for a Lightroom preset download, and I'll leave the link in the description below for that. But without talking too much more, let's just jump right into it. Alright, so to start, what you're going to want to do is have Lightroom opened up and your photo that you're going to want to edit already in here. And so right now I'm going to kind of break down this photo. Anyway, so let's get right into it. The first thing I'm going to do right here is just hit reset on this, and you'll see that right away it's pretty yellow. So I'm just going to go down through these sliders and let you guys know what adjustments I make to edit a photo like this. Alright, so first of all, it's looking like pretty cold and green to me. So I'm just going to bring a little bit of warmth in here, not too much, and then maybe a little bit of magenta over here in the sliders. And we're working up here in the tone and color treatment stuff. Exposure I'm not going to touch because I usually shoot pretty well with my camera unless I really have to drastically change it, or I'm doing some special effects. I leave it. But contrast I'm going to push up just a little bit so there's some nice depth of color in here. Highlights I'm not going to really change because I like how this photo is pretty bright. It gives a nice feel of that beachy day and stuff like that, and I like how it reflects on the sand, so I'm not really going to touch that. The whites I kind of like as well. I might bring down the highlights just a little bit so you get only a very little bit more detail in the sky. But the shadows I'm gonna increase a lot. I know in the preset it's I have it up to 60 or something, which might be too much for you, but so for this sake of this tutorial I'm gonna bring it down to maybe 40 or 39, which is still pretty good. Makes the image a lot brighter already, but you can definitely see a lot more in my face and stuff, which is pretty good. But I also don't want to wash it out, so I'm gonna put the blacks down a little bit so it just looks like there's a little bit more definition and contrast in that area. Then we're going to come down to clarity. I'm not going to touch. That's something I usually do last, but I will bring up vibrance and just kind of give it a nice brighter, happier feel. And then I'm going to take the saturation and bring it down because I like a nice desaturated look across my photos. So this is a nice way to do it overall for all the settings. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to try to get rid of this greenish look and make it really orange and teal. So just looking at this, you can see it's really green and yellow in this grass. So that tells me that I need to go to the Hsl Slider, and I'm going to go to the yellows. And I'm just going to bring it all the way to the left here, and that's going to get rid of that greenish tint in this grass and make it a lot redder. Maybe I can boost some saturation into it too and get that really golden look. Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm going to give it a little bit of saturation, maybe 8, because I'm going to do some other adjustments to the colors here. I want to make my skin a little bit darker, so my skin kind of falls in the oranges, and so will this grass stuff. So usually to do this, what I do is boost the reds first, so that way when I bring the oranges down, it's not too harsh in the skin tones. And then I'm just going to bring the oranges down like this, and then maybe increase the saturation like this. And then you see the grass is nice and red now, and my skin tones are pretty orangey and nice color. Other than that, in the Hsl Slider, I think we only really have some teals and blues, and what I'm gonna do to get that teal look, since most of my blues are really dark blue in here, is just go to this color, not the aqua, but I'm gonna go to the actual blue and bring it more towards the aqua side, so you get this really nice teal look in your my jacket and stuff like that, and also the sky, and over here in the shadows where it's kind of white. Definitely gonna give you that Sam Kolder kind of feel in your photos if that's what you're going for. I'm also going to desaturate this a little bit just because I want to get an edgy feel with this, and a little edgy desaturated feel, and don't want the blues to show up too much. And I think that looks pretty good with the jean jacket and stuff. Next thing I'm going to do is come down to split toning, and for whatever I do for split toning, it's always really subtle. So I know the highlights are going to be pretty red because of the grass and stuff like that, so I'm going to come over here and find a nice happy tone, just slide across. I usually only put 5 or 6% in here, kind of like it right there. It's a nice rich color. And then for the shadows, I want it to be blue, so it really pops in this jacket right here and maybe over here, just like we had in the preset. So I'm gonna come over here, and I think this teal is a little bit too much, so maybe some darker blues over here. I kind of like this one, but like I said, down to like 5 or something %, and that's pretty good for me. It's looking pretty good already. It's definitely looking pretty similar to the preset that we had, just maybe not as bright and maybe not as saturated, but that's okay because it's really a personal preference and it doesn't have to be the same thing every time, and it's up to you like what you want to make it look like. I'm just showing you how I do it, and then you can mess around with these sliders in your own way. And with this split toning too, you may not notice, but the difference is so small. If you turn this off, it's a very, very subtle difference. It's something that you probably might not notice unless you start practicing for a little bit, but for me, I notice it a lot because I've been doing this for a while. So the only other thing I'd have to do after that is mess around with the RGB slider, so to give it like that vintage feel that or cinematic feel that a lot of photos on Instagram have, like Sam Kolder. I'm gonna bring the shadow marker in here just a little bit to make the shadows darker, and then lift them just a little bit so it gets like a faded look almost, but not too much. Some people go overboard and like do it like this, and I think that's too much. So I'm just gonna bring them in just a little bit and then up. I don't know, right there. I kind of like it. Maybe you don't even have to add that in your photo at all. You may not like that style, but that's what I'm doing. And then I think for this photo also, I usually like to boost the midpoints right here, just so it's like a little bit brighter overall, but especially in the midtones. And then you might want to take down the shadows just like a tiny bit here to add the contrast. And then actually, I think that's too much for my taste. I mean, just very, very small amount. And then I'm not even gonna touch the highlights just because I want it to be like pretty bright. The only couple things I would do is maybe boost the reds in the midtones, so you get a nice rich red color in the skins and these trees, and then lower them in the shadows, since I personally want to have the nice contrast with the blues and the shadows. So just lower it just a little bit, and then come in and do the same thing. Leave a marker and put the blues up in the shadows just a little bit, and the blues down in the midtones. So it's kind of a reverse, and then it's gonna start looking like this, really nice in orange and blue. And if you hit before or backslash on your keyboard, you can see what it's like before, and this is after so far. So it's pretty good. The only other thing you might want to mess around with is highlights and stuff. If you want, you can go back and adjust that stuff later, now that all these other things are done. The only thing I really want to adjust now is like clarity. Maybe put it up like 4 or something, just really small, just to add like that next a little bit of extra sharpening. And then that's it. That's pretty much it. This is all I did pretty much to achieve the look for this photo. There are other ways that lots of people do editing for orange and teal looks that you can do. You can come down here to the camera calibration stuff, and there's all these profile sliders which you can move these hue things left and right, and it's going to change the color of your image. That's a fast and easy way to do it. But the problem is, if you don't have a raw image, it kind of gets muddied. Or if you're using just these, you have a pretty limited amount of things you can do. So it's better to follow along with what I did here, and then copy what I did here, just at these settings as a starting point, and then mess around with them on your own. And that way you're gonna have so much more control and understanding of Lightroom, so that way when you go to edit photos on your own, you know that, oh, I need to move the blues here, or do this and this and this, and so that way you can start creating your own style. Because if you do this simple thing down here, yeah, it'll work and it's efficient, but you're probably gonna get bored eventually with the same photos, and then you're gonna want to try to move on. It's gonna be hard. Now, if you didn't really want to follow along with this, or if you just wanted to be able to have this and use it on any of your photos without having to do any of the work or stuff like that, you can go over to my website, which is from the link in the description below, and pick up this preset, and you can just literally do it on any photo. So I'll show you on this photo as well. I'm gonna hit reset on this photo, and then I'm gonna come over and put it right on here. And then from there, you see that it gives you that overall, it gives you that base starting point. But again, you're gonna have to understand a little bit about these sliders anyway, because not every image is gonna be the same. So you're gonna have to adjust some things. In this image, clearly the shadows are way too high, so you're gonna want to bring them down like this maybe, and then mess around with the other stuff to get it to where it was, so you can get it back to this point. But it's at least a good starting point for you to have on all of your images, or if you want that look on all of your images. Again, it's not gonna work exactly on every single image because it's a very specific color type. Obviously, if you have a lot of greens and stuff in your image, it's not going to work. It is a very popular and very appealing look to have in your photos. And if you're wondering how to get Lightroom presets imported into the app itself, all you have to do is go over to the store, and once it's downloaded onto your computer, you're going to come into Lightroom, open it up, come up to this left corner right here where you'll see the text for Lightroom. click on that and then come down to preferences, and it's going to take you into here, and you'll see a little tab that says presets. You're just going to click on that, and then you'll see this little thing that says location, and it's going to say, and it says show Lightroom presets folder. Click on that and it'll take you to this folder that highlights the Lightroom thing, and you just click and open that as well, and then click on this folder that says develop presets, and then it has your user presets, which is where all my presets would be. But if you had downloaded a preset from me, which I think I have one in this folder, I have a preset saved, you just go here, come back into this folder and just drop it right in here, and then boom, the preset you just downloaded will now be available in Lightroom. All you have to do is come back into Lightroom, close it out, restart it. When you open it back up, it will show up on this left side right here under user presets, or under whatever file name that the preset that I have is under. Boom. Alright, another easy tutorial for you guys. Hopefully it was easy and you can follow along. And that's just how I do it. I'm sure there's plenty of other ways to do it, but anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Like I said, if you did, make sure to hit that like button. Comment down below if you had any questions or want me to cover anything else for this, or want to do a different editing style for photos. Subscribe to this channel if you guys want to see more content. Currently I'm trying to make 3 videos a week. I know I'm slacking a little bit right now, but I'm going to get back onto that, which is why I'm still making this video today, even though it's not Tuesday. And just as a last note before I go, speaking of these other videos, I'm going to be doing a Q&A video. So if you have any questions that you want to ask me about like tutorials, things that you left comments in that I didn't get to, things about me, how I got paid gigs for photography, or how I got into photography, all that stuff, just let me know in the comments down below, or you can ask me through DM on Instagram. It's at a.crossley with 2 Y's, and just make sure whether you leave a question in the comments or in my DMs on Instagram that you say it, and that you're here from YouTube and stuff like that. Just hit like Q&A or something like that, so I know, and then I can sort through and put all the things together and then go through them for the video. But with that said, that stuff out of the way, that's all I have for you guys today. Sorry to keep you here a little extra longer, but if you stuck around, I appreciate it, so thank you. But until next time, I'll see you guys then. All right, peace.